And here we go. We are diving on into the grand finals, the final series of the night, of the day. Because right after this, mate, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, I will as well. I wasn't up as long as you were, thankfully, but yeah. Anyway, we are going to be kicking off our grand finales here. It is going to be a TvT, and we are going to be starting it on Berlingrad, LE. We're in the top left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top left-hand corner. We have our blue Terran player coming out from the land of Korea. He is, of course, going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming. DPG! He is finally not playing in a TVP. Cure.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Berlingrad LE, we have our finalist who has had some practice in TvT today already, taking down the likes of Byun. We have the Chinese Terran going for a bit of a proxy, representing KZ Gaming. KZG, it is time.
And time has been waiting a long couple of hours, honestly, for his finalist opponent. And now that he's here, he's like, you know what? I just don't want to waste any more of it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just gonna proxy it and go to bed.
Time is precious, and it is to be used wisely, and that is why we have our proxy. We do have Curie going for an SCV scout, but by the time he gets across the map, hey, things are looking pretty normal here with our racks. Unfortunately, time does not wall off, so the SCV will get into the main base.
Yeah, will scout the double gas, but also notices, wait a minute, you got double gas but you don't have a factory or a CC?
Oh.
Sus.
What's important is that he actually didn't see the gases.
He did. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's...
He only dipped in and he saw the SCV coming, so he actually went down to low ground to deny a CC.
Oh, Cure, that was way too premature.
So he's a little bit in the dark. For all he knows, it could be a factory. He's currently scouting, looking for any kind of proxy, but he does not scout it, doesn't confirm.
Yeah, well, that's usually how it goes, isn't it? If you dip in and you don't see anything, if you see that barracks and you notice that there's no CC, you're gonna be assuming that they're going for a factory expand. Little does he know.
Little does he know that the Reapers are already here across the map. The CC is being delayed here by Cure. The SCV already getting picked off. But we need a little bit more than that here. And what I love is that Cure is here on the location just to delay the CC even further if time tries to transition.
Exactly, but as we can see, time isn't. This is, I gotta be honest, not something I think I've seen before.
What?
A forward bunker for Reapers on the low ground, which, you know, in fairness, it will contain time for a little while, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just a little odd to see.
I love it because, like, Hellions and Reapers are going to have a hard time destroying a bunker. You know, they don't do the most damage against buildings. So I kind of loved it, but time abandons it.
Oh, there's a mind game.
Yeah.
He loaded up that bunker, made sure Cure could see it, and then evacuated the bunker once Cure was on the... Yeah, no. Yeah. And look at how scared Cure is being right now. He wants to stay on top of that ramp.
He's like, oh my god, the bunker, it's full of units. It's got an army, but no, it isn't.
He's waiting for the siege tank so he can siege it up and deal with the bunker. Mate, what a big brain play from Time.
It's huge, mate. It's ginormous. Meanwhile, Time, he has his Reapers ready and waiting to do whatever he can. Unfortunately, the Reaper Cliff has been dealt with. It is walled off, and the tank finally comes out to deal with the bunker. Savage.
Wow. He even gets salvaged. Man, I'm in awe. I'm gonna learn this build.
Oh god, he's gotta be careful with the tank though. He gotta be careful as oh god, he does it! He wants it! He wants the tank! Ooh.
Yeah, thankfully though for Cure, he does have some Reapers and a Hellion there to support the tank. This is, by the way, something that Time needed to do. He needed to delay the landing of the natural base for as long as possible because his own natural is only now finishing up.
Only now, mate. To be fair, it's not too far away. Meanwhile, the Cyclone, with the power of the Cyclone, Cure takes control of his side of the map. He's able to clean up the majority of these Reapers. Now he is headed across. And what is there time to defend for Time? Thankfully, he does have his own Cyclone.
Yeah, a couple of his Reapers still survived as well, so gives some really well-placed KD8 charges, can completely shut this down. Kyo's aware of that too, so he doesn't want to, completely give up his map control going into this, diving into this.
Jumping into this.
Jumping, ooh, I like that. Yeah, and that works because with the KD8 charge, the units jump.
They do got jumps, mate. They do got jumps.
Ew. Still the funniest thing in the world when you KD8 a laying onto the high ground. Happens every now and then.
God. Every now and then, as this is looking terrifying. Man, Curious pushing out, man. He's got the tank advantage. We do have a Banshee. No cloak, though, so I was going to say maybe he can try and pick up some of these tanks.
Oh. The Cyclones taking each other out is actually huge for Time right now, because now there's not an easy way to deal with the Banshee. Cure is turning everything around to try to deal with that.
Yeah, this has delayed the push by so much, and now Time has his own tank. He's got a second tank on the way. He can throw down a bunker if he so chooses. Like, things looking scary earlier, but now I think he's okay as long as he doesn't get caught unsieged.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Time still only has one tank, and Cure obviously does have that disable available, or even some auto turrets if he needs to utilize that. So the advantage is still to Cure. Another Raven is out now, but neither of them have any energy. Time has a lot of Marines, but a very well-placed tank in the back will be able to completely shut down the bio of Time.
Wow, and just like that, Time actually keeps both of his tanks alive, but he has to re-siege.
Ooh, he does have to re-siege. Oh, okay.
Just barely, he does manage to get that off in time, and behind this, now that he has defended, going for a bit of a drop and going for a third.
Yeah, be as economic as possible, might as well at this point if you are Time. Both players really just trying to secure and stabilize their economies before doing anything massive. Speaking of anything massive, Time is pushing out, going for a bit of a counter push, counter drop even.
Yeah, we'll see how this does, because again, there's nothing here in position. He does siege up, and now he's going to force Cure to push into his siege tanks.
A lot of SCVs started to go down, but now Cure thought he was going to throw out an auto turret, but yeah, disable still works out really, really well. His own tank was in range of the tanks of Time, so he is able to just shut down this drop, but not before getting a lot of lost mining time and taking out 8 SCVs.
Yeah, honestly, I'm very impressed with the amount of workers that actually went down. I was about to say that this is the power of the Raven, right? This is why Raven openers are so common in TvT, because you have so much potential with them, so much available to you. But here, Time got some SCV kills. He was still able to accomplish something, and from here, he can... Yo, he wants to drop on top of the tank? Oh my god.
Yeah, actually, there's not a lot of Marines here for Cure, so friendly fire would have been devastating. Thankfully, Cure does unsiege in time. But now he's kind of forced back a little bit. Time is looking to go for the quick 1-2 and secure the death blow.
Yeah, that's what he wants. Going for a bit of a doom drop. Is there a way into the main base? There is a turret, so Time has to be careful. But other than that turret, there's not much here. There's a single tank. That's all he's got.
Yeah, and there's a well-timed boost. He can drop him directly on top of the tank. He doesn't, though. Now he's going to try to, but enough time has been bought for Cure for him to pull back. Very good spread of Marines as well. Will be able to completely shut down those tanks. And just like that, Time has lost the vast majority of his army. Look at how quick, look at how ahead Cure is in army supply.
Yeah, unfortunately, Time didn't scan ahead of time. He didn't confirm where the tank was. He didn't know where exactly he had to drop. He just kind of winged it. And as a result, he lost a lot there.
I get it.
Yeah, like that was kind of brutal.
They're in the medevac. Yeah. Commander. But yeah, that was
That's trap, man. That's trap.
That was, yeah, it is trap.
I know what you're on about, me.
It's medevacs, you know?
Yeah.
Man, there was definitely even a point in time where maybe Time could have traded evenly against the against Cure's own army. It still took a little bit of time for him to get back in position, and his army was still trickling in a little bit, but man, that spread of Marines from Cure was beautiful to see.
Oh yeah, it was absolutely insane. Absolutely insane, as we do see Time trying to reposition, but Cure, he's got a Marine there already ready and waiting, so he does confirm where the bio is. And my god, Time actually taking his 4th on location. Bold move.
Yeah, Pretty bold move, but considering he's been so active on the map and he knows exactly where Cure's army is, all the way back home, may as well try to get away with it while he still can.
May as well, right? And so far, he is, in fact, getting away with it. So now it's on Cure to be a little bit more active. He still has those Ravens from the beginning of the game, though. Again, like the Raven, we talk about it all the time. It's so good. There's so much you can do with it. Disables the auto turrets.
Oh! I was very worried that they were going to get taken out or sniped by the Marines, but they do not. And even just having 2 tanks disabled can really make a massive difference in an engagement.
It really can. Just like that, both tanks do get taken out. So do all of the Marines as well. Cure just maintaining his tank superiority. And Time really struggling to deal with these spellcasters. Again, you talked about it. You thought these Ravens were going to get picked off. I'm sure I did as well. I'm sure Time did. They're still alive throughout this entire game. But not for much longer.
Oh, the
Vikings! Ah!
They will be able to get a snipe on one of these Ravens, but not both of them. Decent positioning with his Marines from the side of Cure.
Exactly.
And now, back to square one. This is the point of TvT, which is kind of similar to a late game EVP in a way.
Let's go, TvT. To be fair, I mean, this has been pretty active. We haven't seen like 2 tank lines just staring each other down.
Yeah.
Instead, we've seen 2 tank lines trading with each other pretty evenly.
We've had a nice tug of war.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good. It's a good game 1.
It's good. It's good games, Brent.
It's good game gaming.
GGG. Patience, come back to us.
Come back, Patience. My brain is melting. Oh, I miss him so much. As Time, he's picking up whatever he can, just a nice vision here as all the sensor towers are finishing up. Cure finally gets his own 4th base on location, trying to catch up, but Time, he gets his 4th, he starts his 5th, he just doesn't stop.
Doesn't stop, but he is trying to drop every now and then, being very active with little handfuls of Marines, trying to see if there's any harassment that can be done. There's a really try to outmaneuver one another. This is honestly a scenario that I haven't really seen too much of before, but I'm glad that we are watching the TvT on Berlingrad and we're going into the mid, potentially even the late game, because there's just so many opportunities for either player to outmaneuver the other. There's so many choke points that you can try to siege up on, and even ways around those choke points as Time will snipe that 4th base.
Exactly.
Very comfortable lead economically.
Exactly.
Forward.
You were talking about the ability to outmaneuver. That's exactly what happened. Time just outpositioned Cure so heavily. The boys are being pulled. The army is getting surrounded.
He is about to get sandwiched. Only 1 Raven with 1 disable available, and that is nowhere near enough. Cure loses just about everything, but Time loses almost every SCV.
Yeah, but you know what? It's the SCVs, they're made to be pulled across the map because Time on sieges. He killed the army as well as an entire base. It is go time here. He's going to just send it across the map. There's only 3-4 tanks. Honestly, though, that's a lot of tanks.
Yeah, there's a lot of tanks, honestly, from both players. The Liberators are out now, but Time doesn't have the air superiority he once did. Is going to be enough, though, to force Cure to re-siege.
Oh, that it
He
is.
can't, the body blocking.
Oh, God, he cannot. The Vikings finally come out. The Liberators will finally be dealt with, but not before dealing some damage and getting a kill on a couple of those tanks. Meanwhile, 3-3, the timing for Time is on the horizon here. It's about to kick in. Is that what he needs to really break his opponent? Maybe. It's still about tanks, but you know what? 3-3 will still be nice.
Really will.
Look at
that allows the Marines to suffer.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
One more volley, but the writing was on the wall, and Time will take game number 1. Cure decided to spare us from a 30-minute TvT.
He totally could have stuck in there. He could have.
He
didn't realize he was up like 30 workers, and the supplies were relatively similar. As long as he had the tanks, like Time wouldn't be able to break him.
He really wouldn't have. I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna complain that Cure decided not to stick in there.
It's understandable, but wow, what a game 1. So back and forth. We saw both players have certain advantages. I understand that Cure's morale probably went down the gutter when he lost his entire army in the middle of the map. He probably assumed that he was further behind than he really was.
Well, even if he knew how ahead he was economically, I think he noticed how much momentum Time had behind him, right? Because he saw Liberators already starting to get made, and they took out one tank and really, whatchamacallit,
Hmm.
weakened up a couple of the others. So Kira was probably thinking, look, if Time is already at this phase of the game, and I have to rebuild my fourth, and I have to, catch up on tech, then, well, it's gonna be tough for me to just catch up, I suppose. Despite his worker lead, which, again, he might not have been aware of. He might not have been aware of how ahead he was when it came to the workers, but even then, even if he was ahead in workers, he only had 3 bases, so it's not like he could really mine as a lot of ways to think about that. A lot of ways to theorycraft. A lot of ways to whatchamacallit. But regardless, we are going to be continuing our best of 5 grand finals now on 2,000 atmospheres. LE. We're in the top right-hand corner. Map swinging all the way to the top right-hand corner. We have our red Terran player coming out for the land of Korea. He is once again about to be proxied, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming DPG. He is Kyo.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of 2,000 atmospheres LE, as well as the center right, we have the Chinese Terran player, 2 games in a row, going for Le Proxy, this time much more committed. We have representing KZ Gaming, KZG, it is time.
Time for what?
It's time for a proxy. It's time for cheese. It's time to end it, mate. Let's go.
And we were worried we were going to get long TvTs.
And we almost did, mate. There was no reason for us not to. Like, Cure just spared us. He spared himself.
Cure is a benevolent mayor, after all.
He is the mayor of Cure City. As of course, we do see the 2 Raxes here across the map, unscouted so far, but with the SCV scout, Cure, he will realize what the hell is going on.
Just like so. This time he does take note of the double gas, and he will, just have his alarm bells ringing in his head. He knows exactly how to defend against something like this. Most likely, it is going to be Reapers, but even if it's Marines, then, well, Hellions is still a pretty good way of defending.
That there are. Meanwhile, we do have the first Reaper here for Time. Is trying to focus down that building SCV. Oh, actually forces a cancel on that bunker.
Well,
yeah, Cure realizing he doesn't need it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it was. The bunker's good if it's Marines, but he confirms that it's Reapers instead.
That he does, and the Reapers are knocking on the door, but again, they're not finding too much damage whatsoever. We do have continued Reaper production though, so Time is looking to try and snowball out of control.
Yeah. If Cure slips up even once, then Time will be able to very quickly outmaneuver him. He's actually not building any more Hellions from here. He wants to go for a Cyclone, it seems.
Yeah,
exactly. Which can actually be a really big risk, as he was saying, if Time gets enough Reapers out, he can snowball.
As you're saying, very risky move here, very greedy move from Cure, but Time, he just lost one of his Reapers, and because of that, he's actually assuming that he can't break Cure anymore, so he backs off.
Okay, taking the more cautious approach, which you can't fault either of these players for doing.
It makes plenty of sense, and because of that, Cure is going to get away with this. The Cyclone is about to pop out, and with the completion of this Cyclone, Cure is safe and sound at home.
Yeah, you're going to be able to kill these scouting barracks.
That
Only
is
TvT.
Meanwhile, the Rax will be able to confirm everything here across the map. There is a CC, there's no one base play going on, and even confirms an add-on switch, so he should be getting ready for some Banshees. Uh-oh. Hey, do you see what I see?
Yeah, back at home. That I think I see what you see. I mean, I have used the observer, so I'm looking at what is being displayed, observed, but I'm not sure if it's necessarily what you see. I see Cyclone and Maglev coming out.
Man, this madman is going Cyclone Banshee, looking to. Is he gonna play mech? Is he gonna commit? See, I mean, this is a pretty costly upgrade if you're not gonna throw down more factories. Just saying.
We'll see. He's throwing down the reactor and the barracks, but of course that could also just be for an add-on swap. Could be getting a second factory later on to get some Hellbats out.
We shall see as the Cyclone's about to finish up here for time. What is the next production building going to be? And it's going to be a third CC.
Yeah, third CC, yeah. So
Makes sense.
Yeah. He's giving himself options here.
He is. The world is his oyster, mate.
Yeah, and he's got plenty of time to do so.
Yeah, you just gotta, squirt some lemon and slurp it down, mate.
Ooh. With straw.
What? Have you ever had oysters before, Yaku?
I did, and then I got rashes. That's how I discovered that. That's how I discovered my shellfish allergy.
Wait, you're allergic to shellfish?
Yeah.
What is included in that?
Well, funnily enough, I thought it was just shellfish, but also crustaceans. So, lobsters, crabs, whatchamacallit, oysters, mussels.
Up!
That is what Maglev was for. It was to very quickly deal with the Raven time. He's realized from game number 1 how valuable a Raven is.
Oh yeah. Beautifully done there by time, able to lie in wait, and just dive on that Raven and focus it down. But you're allergic to crab?
Yeah, you want to know a fun fact?
We ate crab together. What are you talking about? We went out and we got crab when we were in Singapore.
Yeah. You did see me that night when whatchamacallit, when my face got swollen up.
What is wrong with you?
Like, I have the I inherited it from my grandfather, and the fun fact was my grandfather was always allergic to crab, but because my grandma liked crab, he just ate enough crab to the point where he almost died. But then overcame the allergy.
What the hell? Why do you say something? What's wrong with you, God?
Well, because I've eaten enough crab that in low amounts I can deal with it.
God damn it, Yaku.
Like, it's not gonna kill me. It's just, annoying.
Wait, it will kill you.
Well, if I eat enough crab, it'll kill me.
Oh my God.
I built up a tolerance over time.
Shaking my head, Yaku, shaking my head. Meanwhile, of course, we do have additional Raxes being thrown down here. It is going to be Biotank from time. That Macfield was just to snipe that Raven, and honestly, I love the idea behind it. Regardless, though, Cure still has 2 more Ravens behind this, so plenty of energy being stocked up here for Cure, and it's going to be a bit of a tough nut to crack here for time. Tough crabby.
Yeah, to crack, yeah. It's gonna be a high noon scenario here where it's gonna be very dependent on who throws down their auto turrets or who throws down their disables first. If Cure's quick enough, he can disable Time's Ravens and really neutralize them. Not, then, well, Time's gonna have the advantage going into each engagement.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of all that, which one of these players is going to be the Clint Eastwood and keep like a metal sheet behind their puncher?
Oh. Which is the one that's gonna... I don't remember many quotes from that movie.
What movie? What?
Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
No, that's where it originated. I was thinking about. I was doing a call back to Back to the Future. Back to the Future.
What?
Have you seen Back to the Future?
Still wants me to.
What, you haven't seen Back to the Future?
The next movie club.
Oh my God.
I've seen Back to the Future 2.
God.
And I was very confused.
God damn it.
Because I had no context for it. I saw it at like 3 a.m. one night while it was on. I jumped into Back to the Future 2 in the middle of it. I was very confused because I had no context for anything.
You're not helping. You're not helping the state of my brain here in this TvT finals. Just every single thing you say, it just hurts that much more.
Did I tell you about the time when I was young and I had no strength to crack a crab, so I would just try to smash it? I think I did. Anyway, Kira's starting to push out.
He's pushing out, mate. He's up in supply. He's still got plenty of energy on those Ravens. He's got them tanks. When it comes to the air superiority, how many do we have? We do have 4 Vikings to the 0 of time.
A lot more Vikings for Kira, sorry. Decent disable on one of the tanks, but he does give up one of his Ravens, a very high energy Raven at that. In exchange for all this, though, Cure will be able to deny this 4th base. Jesus. Complete reversal in game number 1. He's even disabling even more tanks. Time didn't have that many to begin with, but now he's gonna have even less to work with.
Exactly. Time being punished for his greed here for his 4th base on location. You say deny, I say kill, as Cure takes a massive economic lead, and he barely lost any tanks in that engagement as well. Now we have reached the point where we have 8 tanks to 2 of time.
And Cure is encroaching closer and closer, little by little, bit by bit. We'll disable one of the tanks, and the other one is primed to get sniped out. Massive anti-armor missile going off on top of the Bio Army, though. A couple of very well-timed disables from the side of Time, but does Cure have barely enough? Seems like he doesn't. Time will be able to break this.
Oh my god, despite having the massive tank disadvantage, he still holds on strong. There was some beautiful disables there because he had 3 of his Ravens. He was able to just, again, try and equalize that a little bit. Does hold on, but Cure's not stopping. He wants to deny that 4th base again.
He might have barely enough to try to get the denial, but Time is in position. He has sieged up his tanks. He is sending more and more bio to aid this area, to reinforce this area.
Yeah, that he is, and with that, he may just barely have enough behind this Cure. He's just getting another base. He essentially double expanded, so his economic lead is still going to be insane. Meanwhile, he's trying to find a way in, but doesn't quite get it. Again, the tank positioning is just too good from the side of Time.
Yeah, speaking of tanks, though, I think it is important to note that while both players are trading about evenly throughout this entire time, Cure has not slowed down whatsoever when it came to production.
Yeah, that he has not. Meanwhile, Time he unsieges, he tries to dive on top of that tank of Cure, but is it going to be enough? It looks like he does break that position, but mate, does Cure care? Mate, Cure doesn't matter. He's got another army towards the right-hand side of the map.
Yeah, Cure's doing what Cure does best, and that is multi-pronging. He's even loading up one of his medevacs to try to go for a massive drop into the main while trying to push it to natural. Oh, okay, maybe not.
Exactly. Meanwhile, nice spotter Marine there. By the time he confirms the position of the army of Cure, is able to make sure he has an army in position. Oh, meanwhile, Vikings are trying to catch the jumps, but we have oh god, he always commits. Time saw it though.
He did. Cure was trying to pull a bit of a Time here. Trying to completely reverse what went on in game number 1. He wanted to be the one to doom drop into natural, but this time, Time was a lot more vigilant. Been saying Time too much, so it's starting to lose meaning. This time, Paynon was a lot more vigilant with his Vikings.
Exactly. This time, Time was not in Time's favor here, as Time, he's ready. He's got his defensive position set up, got his Vikings. 3-3 is on the way, and Cure is trying to force himself in here without any Ravens.
With a good enough Marine spread, he may be able to, but that was a little bit iffy. He has that with all the tanks, though.
Wow.
And Time does not have enough Marines to buffer, it seems. Cure is encroaching forward slowly but surely, but he will be able to siege up all of his tanks. What about the Vikings, though? They could still land, but there are just enough Marines for Cure to prevent that.
Exactly, and I'm just shocked by how much Cure was able to accomplish with pure Marine, mate. The tanks were barely even a part of that engagement. Meanwhile, in comes Cure finally with that jump. GG gets called, and Cure ties it up 1-1.
Wow. I am in absolute awe. I really do think that was some masterful positioning from Cure, at least in that final engagement, right? I was kind of wondering, why is Time moving all his Marines backwards, right? If he, fought the Marines with his own Marines, then his own tanks could get a volley out. Thinking back, it was because of how well Cure positioned his tanks. They weren't in range of the tanks of Time, but if Time ever moved forward with his own Marines, and if Time didn't expose his tanks, those Marines were gonna completely get shelled away, and yeah, very nicely done by Cure.
Exactly. Beautifully done there by our South Korean Terran player. And with that, we are going to be diving into game number 3 with no clear player in the lead here. We'll find out who is going to be able to take that lead in the rest of this series.
Indeed. We're going to figure out who is the Red Crab.
And who is Back to the Future.
Future is in an
Future is in an A.
who
who am I casting with, Ravi? Like, what the hell are you doing?
As we continue our finals here, it's the home stretch. We have been up for too long. We are going to be continuing a series on Hardwire LE. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, swatting all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We have our red Terran player coming out from the land of South Korea. He is, of course, going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, DPG. He is not the sickness, but the cure.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Hardwire LE, we have the Chinese Terran player. He is blue, representing KZ Gaming, KZG. Only tied up 1-1. Can he do it? Can he take a lead? It is time.
This time, not proxying.
Oh.
Instead doing very standard Terran things. Double gas from both players, Reaper. We'll see who Reaper expands and who Factory expands, or if either player even Reaper expands.
Yeah. Again, like I'm a little bit lost, not gonna lie. I'm used to seeing, a lot more of an aggressive opener from at least Time, but everything so far is at home.
Yeah. We'll see who goes full coffee. Time decides to embrace his fellow countrymen.
I would hope that he does do him proud here in this series, at least in one game. So far, nothing too crazy out of these players. So maybe some aggressive openers here and there, but in the end, it did kind of all come down to positional play. I mean, that's TvT in a nutshell,
Yeah. That or proxies at the start of every game.
Exactly.
Yep. You know what they say, inside of you there are two wolves. One of them is very aggressive in the early game. The other one doesn't do any aggression in the early game and relies more on positional play. You are a Terran player.
Inside of you, there are wolves.
Yeah. It's a delicacy. I'm not allergic to wolves, so.
True, very true. You're not wrong, mate. You're not wrong. Oh boy, as we are continuing with this grand finals, and yeah, just keeping an eye on a couple of differences here. Of course, we have a bit of a 1-1-1 opening from Le Man of the Cure, but completely different here from the side of Time.
Yeah, going for a 2-Rax Cyclone opening, which is actually exactly what he needs to defend against this little bit of a variant on the coffee build from Cure. He still wants to be very aggressive with Reapers and with Hellions, but instead of 4 Reapers and 4 Hellions, he should just be moving out with 5 Reapers and 3 Hellions.
Yep, that he will, and there's a lot of power in this push, but as you were saying, we're gonna have 2 Cyclones. Like, as long as the control is good enough, like, Time should be fine.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to here, isn't it? Because there's still definitely a lot of opportunity for Cure if he can jump on top of these Cyclones and really nail the KD8 charges, if you can really nail the Reaper grenades. But that's a big if! Very good lock-on. Time is able to take out 1 Reaper and 1 Hellion. Not too bad. Doesn't lose anything, aside from, I think, just a single Marine.
Yeah, very nice positioning and a very nice control there by Time. He holds beautifully, and now we can get into the rest of this game. Stim is going to be the name of the game here for Time. A very early timing going to be available for him with that upgrade. Can he utilize?
Yeah, he wants to go for a very quick, I was going to say Viking tank push, but yeah, no, very quick Marine tank push with his Medivacs out. This does mean that he forgoes a Raven, but best case scenario, he's able to hit long before Cure can get his own Ravens out, long before Cure can get any defensive units out, really.
Exactly, mate. Oh my god, I love the way he's using the Fog of War as well. Forces a lot of awkward interactions here from Cure, and now Time...
Like, he positioned those units right at the edge of the Fog of War. So they not only were hidden, but they also body blocked the forward force of Cure. I don't necessarily want to call it an army.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that was great control there. But our Blue Terran, you know, that wasn't his final form. Stim is about to finish up. The drop is on the way. What do we have in the main base to defend? Nothing in the main. Decent army in the natural. We have our Cyclones. Ooh, Cure is in the middle of moving out there.
He is, and Time is in the middle of moving in.
Exactly. Cure moves out, Time moves in. You can't explain that, as a couple of these Deepers are going to be taking down. Not a lot of economic damage, though.
I mean, it's a decent supply block, right? It's a decent supply block right now for Time. Cure will have a little bit less of an opportunity to get defenses out. Both refineries get taken out. Time is able to back out of there with his Medivacs and with his bio, which again, super important to note because Time should be following this up with a bit of a tank push. It's very important to keep as many Marines alive early on as you can.
Exactly, and he saved the majority of them. Again, so much value here, getting 2 depots, 2 of the gases, delaying all the gas income here from Cure. So far so good from Time. He's kind of setting himself up, you know, a bit of a 1-2 punch. Here it comes, those tanks you were talking about.
He's even clearing out rocks with his Marines just so he can hit a little bit quicker.
That he is. The Marines are all, the rocks are all gonna go down to these Marines, but at the same time, you still gotta respect the army of Cure, because even though he has a much lower supply, he still has tanks, and more importantly, he still has those Ravens.
Yeah, some well-placed disables and some well-placed auto turrets are everything right now for Cure. Time has a massive army supply lead to the point where, you know, if these tanks are even a little bit exposed, I think he can just try to A-move into them, like so. He's getting ready to do so. He's getting ready for it. He's getting ready for it. Okay, but he doesn't take any unnecessary risks.
Oh, no, he does not. He will take down that tank. So only 1 tank remaining. We have a massive anti-armor missile on the entire army of Time, but yo, he still wants the CC.
He get it. He almost gets it. Said he's gonna have to. Said he's gonna have to settle for taking out 9 SCVs, which is obviously very, very massive economic damage this early on.
That it is. Time ahead in the workers and even getting further ahead now that this third CC is forced to be lifted up. But Cure, he has been able to pump out a couple more of these tanks, and with that, it's going to be that much harder for our Blue Terran to break in. Instead, opts to go for a drop.
But Cure should see this? No, I don't think he did. No, he did.
God, he may have, but it's a little bit too late. The tanks are sieging up, but he has the high ground. Mate.
Good disables on 2 of those tanks, but one of them is still around and still able to fire away at that ramp. GG is called. Time takes it to match point.
Wow, Time once again completely outpositioning Cure there towards the end. That was a beautiful location to siege up on that high ground in that main base, and there was no way for Cure to get up that ramp.
None whatsoever, mate. Even though he did barely scout that towards the end, his armor is just way too out of position. And with that, if Time wins 1 more map, he becomes the first ESL Asia champion from China, the first non-Korean ESL Asia champion.
He's doing it, man. He's the foreign hope.
He is. He actually got very close a couple of times in the past. Made it to the finals a few times, but now it is really looking to be Time's week, to be Painon's time.
Be Time's time.
It's time for time to... No, wait.
What do you say? As we are diving into game number 4 here, as you said, one of our players, he is so close to winning his first championship, and not just doing it for him, but doing it for his country, for his people, for the world right now.
Doing it for you, Coffee. I hope so anyway, as we continue our series here on Glittering Ashes LE. In the top right hand corner map, spotting all the way to the top right hand corner, we have our red Terran player coming down from the land of South Korea. He is usually the favorite to win an ESL Asia no matter what. He has dominated this weekly for such a long time, but now looks like his time is about to end. He is going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming. He is DPG. He is Kyo.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of Glittering Ashes LE, we have the Chinese Terran player. He is blue, representing KaiZ Gaming, and 1 game away from winning his very first ESL Open Cup Asia. It is time.
So close, yet so far, because Glittering Ashes is a very big map, so
it's a bit of a big boy map,
yeah,
indeed. The biggest map in the map pool, and unfortunately, I did not see a proxy.
Well, bundle up, guys. Get your snacks ready. Get your blanket ready.
Oh, yeah. Snuggle up close to the fire, you know, open up some s'mores.
Yeah.
I don't even know what s'mores are.
It's some more, you know?
Ah, some more.
Some more.
Get some crackers.
Chestnuts roasting, yeah.
Chestnuts?
Yes, we are in the whatchamacallit. We are a week away from December. Or 2 weeks away from December.
Yo,
you know.
we're mate. This year has gone by so quickly. Like,
it has.
My God, we're almost in December. We're almost gonna have like our holiday break and Ducklings showdown. It's been insane, man. It's been insane.
Mate. It's just dawning on me. I know I said we're almost in December. I didn't internalize it till now.
Exactly. Like, to be fair, there's still a lot left to go on in the year. Like, again, we had all those qualifiers. We still have like TSL. We still have Next. We still have King of Battles, like the main events, the Super Tournament.
DreamHack Winter technically hasn't ended yet.
It's true.
DreamHack will conclude tonight.
Yeah, DreamHack Winter's still going on. DreamHack Last Chance is gonna start as soon as DreamHack Winter ends. Like, oh boy.
Winter is in fact coming.
And it is.
Speaking of coming, Reapers and Hellions, they're also coming in. A little bit of a delay.
Huh. Oh yeah, he delays.
Longer delay.
Oh my God, Cure, he is back with a vengeance, mate. He may be down in this series, but he is not out of this tournament as he fights back, coming across the map with his Hellions and his Reapers. And this time, there was no fast double Cyclone opening, but there is still one Cyclone.
Yeah, not going full coffee, but going coffee enough to really put a hurt on Time's economy. Finally, the Cyclone gets out, and he is able to defend against Cure's Reaper Hellion force, but not before losing 4 SCVs, not before getting a pretty long delay, all things considered, on this natural base.
Yeah, and with that now, Cure has a pretty substantial lead when it comes to the workers because of that opener. So beautifully done here by Cure. Once again, relying on these Ravens. Time recognizing the power of the Ravens and also opening up with his own.
We'll see how well he's able to utilize it. We're gonna get into another sort of standoff scenario where it is kind of on who shoots first, who gets their disables out first, who gets their auto turrets out. But that time is not here yet.
Ooh.
And in fact, Time is here on the other side of the map with Cyclones, with Banshees. May have enough? No, not with Cure Cyclone surviving.
Yeah,
that went down, then
mate,
Time could absolutely tried to jump on top of that.
I was one shot away from going down, but I unfortunately, Time couldn't pull it off. Did just barely get out of vision, so Cure escapes, and with that, he does hold on. And now throws down a CC of his own, but Time has a pretty big lead when it comes to the timing of his own third.
Yeah, that's what he did. Yeah, he was getting this third CC much quicker. It's, you know, just a way for him to not necessarily recover, but a way for him to make up for having his natural base delayed for this long.
Definitely. Like, it is a bit of a catch-up mechanic for him because of the worker losses that he sustained early on. Meanwhile, things are still slowly ramping up. We don't have any upgrades yet, just focusing on our production from both ends. So as you were saying, a little bit more of a passive game here, and it makes a little bit more sense because it is, of course, Glittering Ashes.
Yeah, you don't want to move across the map unless you know you're either A, going to be able to reinforce that, or B, able to take out your opponent. You don't want to be trickling in on Glittering Ashes.
Yeah,
Time
exactly.
still utilizes his Banshee, was able to get 5 SCV kills, but now Curious reciprocating with some auto turrets.
Jesus, the Raven harasses has been absolutely insane. Unfortunately, the Cyclones were not in position to try and deny that. And Curious pushing out. Yo, the Cyclones were busy in the middle of the map. Can they pick anything up? Ooh.
Not quite yet, but one of the Cyclones does get taken out. Almost 2 of them. Time is able to sneak the Cyclone around. He might have a really good solution to the Raven, but the Cyclone does get taken out. Tanks are really low, which is a little scary right now if you're Cure. But not scary enough to really deter him from this push.
It's a bit of a feels bad, man. Those Cyclones really didn't accomplish anything. They got a lot of damage done on the tanks, but there were no kills. And at the end of the day, that is what matters. We have the disables on all the tanks here of Time.
Our turrets are being thrown down for both players. One tank still alive, still undisabled, and still trying to get its shots off. And it will be just enough to buy time for the rest of the tanks to come off of disable and defend for Time.
Mate, it was so clutch for Time to land those Vikings. If it wasn't for that, then Cure would have been able to break through and get on top of the tanks of Time. But that was not the case. Vikings, they came in clutch. MVPs.
Absolute MVPs, mate. Cure, in all fairness, hasn't lost too much behind this either, though. He lost a couple of tanks, but you kind of expect to lose a couple of tanks when you push out like that.
Yeah, definitely. At least he was able to trade a little bit. I say trade a little bit because if you look at the units lost, Time has still not lost a single one of his tanks. So because of that, Time does have a pretty big lead. 5 tanks to the 2 of Cure. But of course, the caveat to that is that Cure still has his Ravens. To be fair, both of them have their Ravens. That's what makes these engagements a little bit hard to call.
Yeah, Cure pretty quickly is going to be able to overtake the Viking count, but even then, it's depending on how Time positions, and if Time is able to catch the army on siege, then the Viking advantage can really be negligible.
Yeah, that it can, as Time is trying to find a way in. Again, he does have that tank advantage, but as time goes on, or again, as more time progresses, Cure, he's able to close that up, and now, earlier he had 1, now he has 3 tanks.
And that should be just enough to really defend against whatever Time has across the map at this stage of the game. It's just acting as enough of a deterrent.
Yeah, exactly. And this stage of the game is still looking for a way in. He does clear up a bunch of Marines for free. Nicely done here. But it still comes down to the tanks. It still comes down to those Vikings as Cure is able to secure another one of these bases.
Yeah, meanwhile, in Cure's natural base, there was a drop being prepared with a tank this time, and Cure has been caught completely out of position.
Oh my god, exactly. Now he's stuck between a hard place and Time. Like, what does he do? If he unsieges his tanks, then Time is just going to push in.
So the Raven is the solution, just like so. With that, Cure is able to defend against this drop, but not before a lot of loss of mining time. I think he lost a refinery, and Yeah, a couple of SCVs go down as well.
Exactly.
Repositioning. Time trying to break through.
He's trying to get up this ramp, but it looks like he just barely will. The Vikings trying to focus on whatever Ravens they can, but they will get a couple of those Vikings instead. Nice trade.
Yeah, not too bad. Real clutch from Time to sort of hide the Ravens at the last second there. Cure would click on Vikings instead.
Could have been disastrous there for a Chinese Terran player. And after all that kind of posturing, really things are kind of, I almost want to say, evening up a little bit. Of course, we still have a drop being set up to go across the map. Both players, they do have their fourths up and running, or at least Cure is looking to get his fourth.
Yeah, gonna be landing that very, very soon. Meanwhile, Time has landed his own and is working on a planetary fortress. Gives Time a little bit of the edge, but not enough to really say he's, that far ahead, that much further ahead.
Yeah, a lot of this will still come down to whether this drop can find some damage. There is a route here past the sensor tower where it can just slip into the main base. There are no missile turrets.
Yeah, that was what I was so worried about.
Oh my god!
There actually was one missile turret. I guess a little bit of a spotter, but none in the main base. It's not gonna be enough for Time to get rid of these tanks. Does buy him a lot of time though to reposition. The tank gets taken out. A couple of SCVs go down. Nice bit of damage here for Cure.
And at the same time, the main army of Time is pushing into the fourth base. He's trying to get on top of that planetary. Can he get it? It's so close, and he does!
He does. Beautiful anti-armor for both players, really, but just not enough for Cure.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Cure, sure, he got SCVs and he disrupted mining here, but that's all he accomplished. Meanwhile, Time got the fourth base.
Got the fourth base, and now he's looking to contain Cure for as long as possible. Unsieges, but there's not enough bio for Cure to really take advantage of the fact that tanks are unsieged.
Yeah, exactly. Not at all. But I love this from Cure. For the longest time, he has had the air superiority. He has had an insane Viking count compared to Time. Finally, he's taking advantage of that, and he is pumping out Liberators.
The anti-tank unit here in a TvT. Yeah, Cure has been very aggressive with his Vikings, hasn't he? He not only has been pumping out more of them, he's also been ganging up on the lone isolated Vikings in Time just to make sure he maintains that lead.
Yeah, exactly. Like, his Viking count was just never able to get high enough. He's trying to find a way around, and he does make his way towards his third base, is able to siege up, and with this, he's going to be able to deal some damage. I don't think he's in range of the CC, though. Oh.
I think some of the tanks in the front are. Yeah, they just barely are. But what we're talking about, like, Liberators as the anti-tank unit, yeah, look at that.
Wow, man, imagine if it wasn't for those Liberators. Like, Cure would have been in a pretty precarious situation.
To say the least.
Just like that, Cure, he holds, and now he needs another base. Not an orbital, not a planetary, not yet. He's just gonna land his CC.
Yeah, that CC wanted to be a fifth base, but now it's forced to replace the fourth. Not the most ideal scenario right now economically for Cure, but he has enough of an army to give himself another fighting chance. Time is very close to maxing out, and he wants to take advantage of that. He wants to push out and end it.
Meanwhile, speaking of fifth bases, Time has his fifth already in planetary. His expansions have just been absolutely insane. Doom Drop, I don't know if that's what you want to go for. Look at all these Vikings, Jesus Christ.
Well, if you can somehow catch him out of position, right now the Vikings are utilized to give vision right now for Cure. Vikings are in position. Liberators are, though, and they will be able to take out so many of these tanks.
Yeah, but you know what? We have a massive Doom Drop into the main base. Is this going to be worth it? Because Time is losing a lot of tanks here due to those Liberators.
He is. But another Liberators to force on siege.
Oh, God. They're going to be able to pick off the tanks in the backline here, and Time will be cleaned up.
Yeah, it takes out 12 SCVs, which is a decent amount of damage, but was it really worth it for the amount of units dropped into the main? We'll see. Only time can tell.
Yeah,
And
and
by time, I don't mean Paynon.
Paynon, he's telling us, mate. He's letting us
Yeah.
know that that was not the trade that he wanted. Again, he had no answer to those Liberators, both in the main base and at the third base. Those Liberators, they were just brutal on top of those tanks.
So we get brutal, and now it's Cure's time to counterattack.
Yeah, that it is time. How can he respond here? He's not opting to go for Vikings. A couple of Vikings are coming out, to be fair, but he's more focused on Ravens right now.
Which is definitely one way of dealing with the Liberators and dealing with the tanks of the Liberators. Sort out as many auto charges as you can, but we may not even get to that point as a massive chunk of Time's army gets deleted.
Exactly. Like, he still can't deal with the Liberators. The Liberators were absolutely insane, and now Cure has a massive advantage in terms of the army supply. He's pushing on forward. The tanks are going down left and right. Same with the Ravens. Despite investing in all these Ravens, there were still so many Vikings from that early game that slowly built up over time. And Cure, there's just nothing stopping him.
He's not even sieging up the Liberators. Towards the end of that fight, he wasn't even sieging up the Liberators anymore.
Yeah.
He was just moving forward because he could afford to do so. And now Cure, he's just parade pushing. He's got so many tanks. He can siege up in the high ground and take out the planetary while still having range to deal with the natural base, but he's going for the throat.
That he is, mate. He's going straight into the natural base, sieging upon even the main as well. We do have a couple of disables being thrown down. That's great and all, but really he's delaying the inevitable.
Tank. The tank is really low, and it does get taken out. No bio to dip into the main base, but again, Cure is fighting damage regardless.
Yeah, exactly. The tanks just take out the natural base. They take out what production they can as well. Again, pushing up into the main can still be a little bit difficult, but good. I don't know if I can see Cure really throwing this away. Maybe if like these Liberators come out and Cure AFKs his tanks, but like, hey, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, we already see him repositioning.
Yeah.
Oh, he does get his unsieged tanks do get caught by some of the bio, but it was a reverse sandwich because in the end, Time's bio gets caught by the bio. Cure, GG, Cure takes us to the ace.
Woo!
That is very pleased. Yeah.
Let's go. We are in fact going to that ace match. We are tied up 2-2 in this series, and it felt like there was a pretty big moment there where Time had a bunch of advantages, you know, denying bases, killing SCVs, killing planetaries, killing CCs. But oh god, those libs, mate. He just could never really deal with them.
Libs were insane for Cure, I feel like. So I think we're all in agreement that that Doom drop did more for Cure than it did for Time, but
Yeah.
even without cleaning up that supply, I do still think that Cure could have clawed his way back with the Liberators. Just Time decided to speed it up for him.
He really did. He really did towards the end there, and now we've reached the point where we are going to our ace match. Game number 5 is where it all will come to an end. Who will be our champion? Again, we were talking about it earlier. Time. First non-Korean. Can he do it? Can he take a win here? Or will the status quo stay the same? Will Cure take another one of many championships under his belt?
Only Time will tell.
It's true. Paynon, he has the answers.
Yes. He needs to translate them first, though.
He does. He does.
We need to translate them first, though.
And that's why we have Mage.
Yeah. I guess that's why we have me, man.
Yeah?
If our adventures in the China server have anything to say about that,
Yeah, it's that you will not help at all, mate. What are you on about?
I'll actually make it worse. But we are finally going to be concluding this tournament. Going to be concluding our stream. I think we're approaching 10 hours, question mark?
Yep.
Oh, we've already approached 10 hours, something like that. About 20 minutes ago. And it's all coming down on Pride of Altaris LE. We're in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way to the top left-hand corner. We have our red Terran player coming out from the land of South Korea. He is going to be representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming. DPG is the mayor of Sick City as he is down with the sickness. He is pure.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Pride of Altares LE, we have the Chinese Terran player. He is blue, representing KZ Gaming, KZG. And he's out here doing it for all the foreigners out there, the non-Koreans, the foreign hope. It is time.
Still no proxies.
Pride of Altaris, mate. It's Pride of Altaris.
Pride of Aldaris.
No, Aldaris is someone else. Altaris.
Yeah, so I said Pride of Aldaris.
Altaris. And mate, I bring it up because I'm getting a little bit of deja vu. We've been here before. 40-minute game.
I mean, we started our broadcast with Pride of Aldaris. We are gonna end our broadcast with Pride of Aldaris. What? It's like poetry. It rhymes, you know? It's nice and circular. But hopefully we won't have a similar scenario to Cure versus Nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it's just like the prequels. It's just like the prequels. And we'll see if it ends with the high ground, or if it...
That's why there are so many ramps on this map.
Ah, true. We have the ramps, we have the high ground, we even have the gold. Just like Anakin had back on Tatooine.
The credits? Question mark?
I don't know, man.
Wait, did Anakin ever go to Tatooine?
No, gold, man. He won the race.
Gold.
Yeah. The pod racing.
Wait, which planet is Tatooine?
Now this is pod racing.
Yeah.
What do you mean which planet? It's what do you mean which planet? It's the planet.
Tatooine is Luke Skywalker planet, right?
Yeah.
Was Anakin ever there?
I'm gonna slap you. They were both. Yes, he was born there. That's why they took him there. Huh? Because he had family. Had Dom.
No, but wait.
Yeah, he went to live with his aunt and uncle
in Bel Air.
Hey, we're about that words, mate. All right. Here we go. So, yeah, so far pretty standard openers from both players. We got our Cyclones. We have actually mirrored builds, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, just about entirely mirrored. We're gonna see which player decides to go for 3 Ravens, which player just goes for 2.
Have you seen the original series?
I only saw New Hope. I didn't see Empire or...
The hell do you mean you only saw New Hope?
Of the original... I saw the prequels and then I saw Episode 4.
You haven't seen Empire?
I haven't. It's a movie that I'm like, I'll get around to it.
I feel like this broadcast, I've realized, you know, why it is you are the way you are. You know, it's just... It's all come together, really. Makes a lot of sense.
Is it because of the crab?
It is, man. It's all because of the crab.
I have a tolerance now.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I can eat a little bit of crab.
Yeah, you didn't eat a little bit of crab. You cracked open a fucking a crab, mate. What are you on about?
Yeah.
Big
I didn't
crab.
Even squeeze it. I just smashed it. I didn't need that much crab, I think.
Anyway, once again for the second time this series, time is going for a faster stim opener.
Yeah, he actually stopped at 1 Raven? Yeah, stopped at 1 Raven, and prioritized medevacs instead, so time is looking to be a little bit more aggressive here. Not necessarily with a push, could always be drops, but, you know, a push is always an option for him with his quicker stim.
That it is. Speaking of pushes, Cure, he's going out across them. I love this movement, by the way. He is avoiding the watchtower completely, going the long way around. Is it worth it? It is, if he catches time off. The drop!
Oh, the drop might actually be caught.
Oh, God, no, not like this.
They're
The
just
lock
cycling
on!
here, and it
Oh!
will lock on. One medevac will go down,
Mate.
another will be disabled. Fortunately, no Vikings here for Cure to really nail home the victory, but he completely shuts down Time's drop.
Wow.
Will force Time to be on the back foot here.
Exactly, the stim timing means nothing. Time is forced all the way back home. Cure, he's waiting for an opportunity. He does have enough energy on his Raven for an auto turret, but not enough for a disable.
Yeah, he's gonna need a little bit more than just a single disable at that.
True.
But he's more than fine with just containing Paynon on 2 bases here.
Oh my god, meanwhile Paynon is not fine being contained as he does disable both tanks. He stims down to low ground and he will catch 2 tanks for free, mate.
Sure, does not even bother trying to contest that. He knew that time is up, at least for that push, and he backs away and tries to regroup.
Yeah, you could argue that that push was still worth it, you know, because he did kind of hamstring that push a little bit, or the initial drop, the initial plan here from Time, and he was able to, again, buy enough breathing room to get his own stim and even things up.
Yeah, Time is still going to try to push out across the map. Again, he wants to utilize his quicker stim, but now we're about even on the upgrades. And pretty soon, Time is going to have combat shield, which is actually a massive advantage here for how aggressive he's being. But for now, you know, Cure can still get away with defending.
Yeah, concussive shell will mean that he can tank an extra one of those tank shots, or at least again bolster his overall beefiness of his army as it does finish up. But still, pushing up a ramp into tanks is not something that you want to be doing.
Absolutely not. I don't care if you have combat shield and +3 armor. When you have enough tanks, they stop caring about upgrades.
Yeah, when you have enough tanks, more Marine is not good enough.
Well, it's gonna be an arms race at that point, because more Marine is enough for a certain amount of tanks. But if you have even more than enough tanks, then yeah, more Marine is not the solution. If your opponent has enough tanks, more Marine is the solution. If they have more than enough, then, well, it isn't at all.
There you go. Meanwhile, Time is still trying to find a way in. He's thinking about it. You know, do I try and skirt around the edge of the map and push into the sensor tower range? It looks like yes, that will be the answer. Time does scout this, by the way, with this Reaper.
So regardless, he actually is aware of the army.
I'm getting flashbacks. Oh my god, the Marines, they try to stim on forward, but they all get picked up. But the disables and the Viking count.
Yo, I was so worried for Cure there, actually. I thought the disable timing was a little bit too late. I thought he really mistimed that. Half of his bio got shot out of the sky before he could really connect with the tanks. But in the end, Cure had just enough. He only loses Marines, which are the most expendable unit right now. He's caught up on the upgrades. He is actually kind of looking to take a little bit of advantage, too, with his +1 vehicle weapons in addition to +2 bio weapons and armor.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened, but like when I saw those 2 armies engage, it suddenly clicked in my mind. A hidden compartment, a memory just opened up, and I do recall that TvT, specifically Time, when he was in Korea, he had a bit of a hard time with TvT just because he had a very unique style where he would often avoid Vikings. He would avoid air superiority, and that's honestly what we've been seeing from him this entire series. Very rarely have we seen him again just really invest into Vikings and maintain control of the map and go into Liberators. Typically, that's been from the side of Cure.
Yeah, massing up Marines to overwhelm your Terran opponents is a strategy. It can actually work really well against, you know, players who perhaps aren't as positionally adept as you are, but as we can see from Cure, he is in fact a master of knowing how to position siege up tanks.
that he is. So Time has been having a really hard time just breaking into this. He did end up getting a couple of Vikings of his own, but again, he still has the much lower overall Viking count. Maybe he can make up for it with some of his Marines and his Ravens. Maybe.
Well, the thing about going mass Marines like this and for going to Vikings is it is a lot more of an active style if you're ever able to isolate even a small pocket of your opponent's army. You have the opportunity to go full forward and take it out, but Kyo's not exactly budget, is he?
Yeah, meanwhile, Time just lost 3 tanks in the center of the map, only for a little bit of energy. He's trying to force his way up, but the tanks are already sieged up. There's 5 tanks on top of the ramp.
Tanks completely decimates the bio, and here comes the flank from Cure to really secure defense, and now comes the counterattack. Cure, his upgrades have finished up, both players on 2-2. Cure with a bit of an advantage. He does have +1 vehicle weapons. No, actually, I didn't realize Time got +1 vehicle weapons as well earlier on. So, yeah, both players even in the upgrades, but Cure, much more tanks, much more Marines, much more Vikings, much more medevacs, much more of everything, really.
Mate, we got 13 tanks to 4, mate. It's absolutely insane the tank count that Cure has, and he's just going to be able to vault his way up into this base. GG gets called, and we have our ESL Open Cup Asia champion.
Number 96. Man, I got so hyped, Light. I really thought this was going to be the week of Paynon. I really thought it was going to be our first non-Korean champion. But in the end, Cure, I guess, got enough of a kick to really just go Super Saiyan, to really just, not necessarily reevaluate, but really just, you know, realize how to take it seriously.
Oh yeah, that was beautifully done there by Cure, especially towards the end, especially that final game. Time, oh god, he was trying to be the aggressor as we know him to be, but oh god, it was so brutal seeing his medevacs get caught out and just the way things snowballed from there. Yeah, he just really struggled to catch a break there. But regardless, like, mate, taking that beyond and going to the ace match against Cure, very well done by Time.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good sign.
Yeah. Very good sign. Very good sign.
And
especially when it comes to his TvT.
Definitely. And of course, just because we are wrapping up DreamHack, at least this season, doesn't mean that there's not going to be anything else for the rest of the year. Time has qualified for TSL. He, I believe, qualified for next. It would be very surprising if he didn't.
Oh yeah.
And I think he's still in King of Battles, if not mistaken.
I believe so. Don't quote us on that because I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, we'll have to double check that. But regardless, we are still going to be seeing a lot more of Time in a lot more of the remainder of the premium events or premier events for the rest of 2021. I am definitely very heartened. Is that a term?
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what Time pulls off after the showing he's had here this week.
I agree. It's been great to see Time perform and take it to some of the best Terrans in the world. Hopefully he's able to replicate that in some of the other matchups. He didn't have too much when it comes to opposition, when it comes to Protoss and Zerg today, unfortunately. But regardless, still very well played, and congratulations to Cure, gets another win on the board. It was a little bit shaky, was a little bit rocky. We had a lot of ace matches for him.
We did. Looked like the king was going to be dethroned once again, but apparently not.
Apparently not. And speaking of king, I do want to give a bit of a shout out, or I would want to recommend people to check out the VODs. For those who are wondering, we have been live for, I believe, 9.5 hours. Yeah, 9.5. Almost 10 hours now. We've been casting all day today. I saw Smash Tomato Tomato in the chat asking like, "Yo, don't burn yourselves out, mate. We do this every weekend."
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, typically like we do have a packed schedule.
If you don't have 1 week or 1 day in the week where we don't have an 8-hour broadcast at least, then That's how you know something is wrong.
Yeah, usually it's Battle of the Americas into ESL Asia. This week it was OSC King of the Hill into ESL Asia, and oh boy, it's been quite a day of StarCraft today. If you want to tune in to Kuro
And
Casting,
it's not over yet.
yeah, it's not
King
over.
of the Hill is still going on.
It is still going on for another 5 or so. Oh, I say 5. No, yeah, for like 4 or so hours. So yeah, like again, I highly recommend checking out the VODs if you want to tune into some Kuro casting. I did cast this morning with Kuro, and then Cristiano jumped in as well to cast. It was nonsense. It was barely a cast, but it was a lot of fun.
Plus, I only tuned into it at the end.
I mean, it's understandable. I know that it did start quite early in the morning, especially for Southeast Asia. And yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. Yaku, why don't you tell the
Yes.
people, are you going to be able to find some time to stream at some point this week?
Well, I will be free to stream this week. Whether or not I do that or not is up in the air.
Fair enough.
But
fair enough.
that will be over at twitch.tv/Yakuzaku1. I will announce when I go live over at twitter.com @EmporeYakuzaku. And if I don't, !Discord in the chat. The bot will tell you if I go live. I'm there, Light is there, Christianox is there, Kuro is there, Steel Mold in the chat will also be there. We're all there, mate.
Yeah, unfortunately,
It's
Cristiano is
flashing the
there.
time.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, he is.
Oh god. Meanwhile, before we do any more final shoutouts, I want to give a bit of a shout out to our team because, fun fact, BTL was supposed to be
They
this
played?
morning. They did not play because,
Oh, they didn't play, yeah.
you know what? Dominaticus Esports, they were scared, they were terrified, they forfeited,
Nice.
and we have confirmed our spots in the playoffs.
Beautiful, mate. Stay tuned for that. I'm catching up on our boys right now, and yeah, they already have plans for next week, or they're already trying to schedule their playoff match. I love this. Oreo panicking like, oh no, I overslept, and I was like, oh wait, no, this was the week to oversleep. It's great, mate.
Shaking my head, Oreo, shaking my head. But yeah, again, we are in the playoffs. If you're wondering what the hell we're talking about, Berserker Team League, BTL, is a North American-based team league, and we have proven ourselves, the CranKy Ducklings, I mean, to be some of the best in all of North America, despite only having one North American player. And we made it to the playoffs. We made it to the playoffs to face teams like License to Kill, Genesis Gaming, and Apprentice Esports.
Now Dominaticus.
No, Dominaticus. There we go. And I can't
no.
wait. I can't wait.
Well, no, they forfeited, so yeah.
Yeah,
Including Dominaticus.
exactly. Well, I was just naming the top 4. Those are the 4 teams in the playoffs.
Okay.
Yes. So those are the top 4 teams that are going to be in the playoffs. Teams like Infernales and Unidos did get knocked out, so the Latin American teams couldn't quite cut it against the rest of us. And I can't wait to see what the lineups are going to be, especially because you need to watch the VOD, but we had a dominant showing against Apprentice Esports. It wasn't a 3-0, it was a 4-0, mate. All 4 of our players just
buddy. Beautiful.
smacked them, mate. Smacked them.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, Sugar, playing too much Age of Empires. What's going on?
Hedge my hedge.
God.
I actually have to check I have to look at the Wikipedia page once again to see who the teams advancing are going to be. Genesis Gaming, License to Kill, and Apprentice Esports.
I already said that.
Yeah.
God damn.
I thought you were just listing teams that we beat.
No, those are the teams that are in the playoffs. God damn. But yeah, so it's going to be pretty exciting. That's going to be in the coming weeks. We will be casting our matches over here on the CranKy Ducklings. Meanwhile, if you want to tune in to more of us, !socials in the chat. We post whenever we go live, and we go live very frequently. We have plenty more casts throughout the week because we're going to be casting NA Apprentice because we have a couple of our boys participating in this season of NA Apprentice. We were going to cast...
Patty Mac.
Yeah, Patty Mac is going to be there, Neo as well, and all these other NA players. Unfortunately, Eric is ineligible because they have a limit when it comes to how the placement of a player in DreamHack. And Eric did get top 2 at the start of the year, so
Yeah.
he can't play.
Wait, is this mean Rio's also?
For
Because
Latin
we made it
America,
to-
it's top 2, not top 4.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the weekend of qualifiers was the weekend where Ryu was sick, so he was unable to play.
So he's not playing regardless.
Yeah. He should be there, but
Yeah.
a little bit unlucky.
Yeah. Yes, this means wait, is Rio playing?
Neo.
Neo, Neo, not Rio.
Yeah, he's playing. He qualified.
Yeah, so
He
Neo
qualified.
and Patty Mac are going to be there.
That they are. They
Beautiful.
are. So if you want to tune into that, again, it's all going to be here on the CranKy Ducklings. Whew. And with that, we are done for the day. If you want to tune into some of my own personal streams, light_VIP on Twitch and Twitter, I'm live throughout the week with some StarCraft ladder and some Final Fantasy. But today, I'm just going to eat some breakfast. It is almost 7 p.m. and I started casting at 8 a.m.
That's time for breakfast.
Actually 9 a.m. technically, and I haven't been able to eat at all today. I've just been casting all day. I had some water in the morning before the cast.
So you neat, man. That's a body good.
And that's literally all I've had today. Wow. So I'm gonna go get some food and pass out. Thanks everyone for watching. Funada Darking in the chat. You're tuning in now? When everything is over?
Reach my head.
God damn it. Buenas noches, everyone. Good night. Have a good one. We are gonna give a bit of a cheeky raid to some drunk Canadian because he is finishing off King of the Hill for OSC. So give him plenty of love. Give the players plenty of love. And we'll see you there.
Love you, mate. Viewers.
Ciao.
Bella.